Good afternoon. So, papayas. How do they do against our cold here in the Central Valley? Surprisingly, pretty good. I mean, I've to date, I have yet to lose a papaya tree to the frost. There are some things that you want to look for though when planting papayas. So I wanted to just kind of show you some of those. So here we've got a sunrise papaya, also known as a strawberry papaya. This particular variety is actually the sweetest papaya variety. This is what's going to happen when it encounters frost. The older foliage is going to, the exposed foliage is going to be all burnt up like this. However, if you look at it, the damaged foliage, new ones are going to basically grow out. These are actually new branches that basically come out to replace the damaged leaves. So this is going to be a multi-branch papaya tree once it grows. As you can see, it started to set flowers, but of course then the frost hits, and yeah, that's what happens. So sunrise papaya, Mexican papaya here. Actually, I've got two of them. Look at the size of the trunk. Obviously, these have fruit on them. With papayas, I normally just let the fruit overwinter. So they generally start to yellow up right when the heat warms up again. So these were actually grown from seed. The cool thing with, the thing with the Mexican variety papayas is they are going to be pretty tall and very, very heavy producers. Not as sweet as the sunrise papaya, but still, it's a papaya. It's really good. There is one disadvantage of being too tall and crazy productive, though. I'll show you what I mean by that. So this week or last week, the state of Florida, especially the southern region of Florida, there were reports of iguanas falling off of tree because they had a cold that was happening. You're talking, it was some of the parts of the states were going down to about 35 degrees, and of course, it causes the cold-blooded iguanas to just kind of fall out and go into hibernation mode. Over here, the two papayas that I had here, it actually fell because it got top heavy. The two trees were just so overloaded with papayas that it actually just collapsed here. Well, one of them collapsed right here. The other one actually collapsed and struck the starfruit tree right here. Luckily, very minimal, actually no damage at all. So very fortunate in that. But the thing with tall papayas is, well, papayas in general is the root systems are pretty shallow. I mean, there is no taproot at all that goes deep into the earth and anchors the trees. So they get toppled easily when there's a wind. So specific to these two trees, I have two options. I could just leave them here and pack the dirt even more to make it more secure. And it will bounce back. You'll create like a 4 or 5 branch papaya tree, and all those branches will set their own fruits. But I'm going to do something different. I'm going to actually rip these two out. I'm going to then wait for the sunrise papaya in the front to produce fruits. And I would then transplant the seeds into the spot. That's going to be my goal. It does taste just a bit better. And the sunrise papaya is a bit more compact in terms of size. So that's going to be the strategy. Those two were also planted from seed. They're actually just a little under 2 years old. Papayas generally will produce fruit for you in about a year or maybe a year and a half when grown from seed. The only bummer about papayas is the trees themselves are pretty short-lived. I mean, the tamarind lives for like 200-300 years. A papaya tree, I think you'd be lucky if you get maybe 7 years out of them. So short-lived trees. Wanted to show you, this is what happened with the those two papaya. It just kind of fell out of the blue here. I wasn't too sad. It had to go. Yeah. Chop them off here. I'm going to compost all these. But yeah, left a trail of destruction. And this is how productive those two trees were. Literally a barrel full of papaya fruits. So papaya fruits, they will ripen on the countertop. The mature ones will anyhow. The small ones, yeah, I'm better off just composting these. So that happens. So now I'm going to show you one other variety papaya that I've got growing here in the Central Valley. Again, just papaya. Winter really is not an issue for them. They will look pretty sad, but summer is not an issue here. They really love the heat. The more sun, the better. So this is another papaya. He's been in the ground for, I want to say this is going 4 years now. This is the parent of the sunrise papaya. This is a Hawaiian Solo. As you can see, being that this has been in the ground for 4 years, it's got its battle scars, that I like to call them, each winter. You know, the branch gets knocked off, new one grows in its place, and eventually becomes like this octopus of a tree here. And each branch, of course, then has its own set of fruit. So, yeah. The thing with papayas is they are prone to root rot, particularly around the winter time, just because the roots are just so shallow that you really want to take special care to ensure that you know, you've got a well-draining soil when putting them in the ground. But beyond that, they will produce, and in most of my papayas, I simply just let the fruit overwinter, and you know, they taste great once the winter is gone and the weather warms up. But anyhow, yeah, that is papayas. Just very productive trees in general. Loves our heat. The more heat, the better. Even seedling ones. I mean, the ones that I propagate from, like store-bought papayas, you know, they've been able to take full sun without any conditions, any issues. I mean, during summertime, the leaves may wilt a bit. They may look kind of sad, but as soon as the evening comes, they spring right back up. So yeah, papayas, they are one of the underrated trees in the Central Valley. They do phenomenal here. Wintertime, they look kind of sad, but again, I've yet to lose a papaya to the frost. All right, have a good afternoon.